Hello, Lindsay Price here, resident playwright for Theater Folk. Hello, Facebook Live. Hello, Theater Folk folks. Today is Friday, and today is on Facebook Live our giveaway, which is in the description. The link is in the description, which I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to tell you in more detail what we are giving away, although the title of it does kind of give it away. It's monologue prompts, but I'll give you more specifics. The other thing I wanted to do is we are very excited. We have 3 new plays that are coming down the pipe, and they have been proofed, and they have been descriptions written for the catalog and for the website, and they have brand new logos. So I wanted to show you the brand new logos of the 3 new plays that are going to be in the Theater Folk canon. So the first one is Breathless by Wendy Marie Martin. This is a play that I got a reading at the Kennedy Center, and has 3 fantastic female leads, all called Summer, and a wonderful opportunity for choral breathing. I'm going to talk more about these once they come out. The Blue and the Gray. I think this is a fabulous logo. I love it. R.S. Paulette. Yes, there is reference to the Civil War blue and the gray, but they are quite ghostly. The gray, you know, if you don't watch out, the gray is going to get you. And a lot of it takes place this is an intensely theatrical play. Can't wait to read some of it for you. Some of it takes place on a icy lake in Virginia. And lastly, Clowns with Guns. It is exactly what it says. It is Clowns with Guns. It takes a look at school shootings and school violence. And the way that we describe this play is that this play is mean. And I'm going to leave that with you about what that means. If a play that we're putting out in the world about school violence and school shooting is not a nice play. Okay, so those are our 3 new pieces that are probably coming out next week. It's very exciting. It's very exciting. Okay, monologue prompts. So you get a whole sheet of monologue prompts for this particular giveaway, and what it is, it just gives you lots of opportunities to give your students a subject or a character around to base a monologue. I'm a real big believer in making sure that students don't write to a blank page. I don't think there's any value in saying to a student, go write a monologue and just create something. Because particularly with writing, so many students have been told that they can't do it. So many students have been told they don't have the talent for it. That's the thing that comes up time and time again. I'm not creative. I'm not talented. I can't do this. We're not talking about creating the next Broadway writer. We're talking about building skills of self-expression, of communication, of, if you're going to move on to play work, collaboration, and all of those skills can be built and worked on and improved through theatrical writing. But everybody feels that they're not creative. Now, the thing, though, that every student can do is they know how to respond. We have been teaching students to respond, whether it's responding to a question, whether it's responding to a prompt. They've been taught to respond since day 1 of a kindergarten. So if you give them a chance to respond instead of create, they're going to come up with amazing things for you. They are going to be able to write in spades, and you will be amazed at the creative things that they come up with when they are under the guise of response. And they're still doing all the work. They are still doing all the things are falling. I don't have enough arms. There we go. They're still doing all the work. They're still using their brains, giving a student a first line for a monologue, giving a student a subject matter for monologue is not doing the work for them. What it is giving them a chance to respond and not leaving them with a blank page and telling them to do something with it. The blank page is terrifying, right? It's terrifying. It doesn't matter how long you've been writing professionally or if you're just starting out as a student. It's terrifying to look at a page and go, the thing that I put down has to come from my head. And the other thing that happens is, particularly with today's students, is that notion of perfection. What if the thing that I put on the page, the very first thing, isn't perfect, isn't wonderful? There's a notion that ideas have to be fully formed and beautiful, and none of that is the way that writing really works. So what you're doing is, instead of giving them a blank page, you're doing that little bit of heavy lifting for them. You're doing the work so that they don't have to have a blank page. They have a chance to respond, and they come up with the final product in the end. So here's some of the things that are on your monologue prompts giveaway. Theater Folk Giveaway Friday. We're here every Friday. I think now that we're moving into the fall, these giveaways are going to be as long as I remember to do them. That's kind of difficult. I have had to tell myself 4 times today, you have to do Facebook Live after dinner. You have to do Facebook Live after dinner. You have to do Facebook Live after dinner. But here I am, and I've done it. We're going to be moving these to the evenings, but Friday, we will be here at some point doing a free giveaway for you. So, what are some of the prompts on this giveaway? Create a character and write a monologue based on this. That headline: Battling Bedbugs, a Booming Business. Who is the character? A character who could be found in that headline. Is it the guy someone who working at a hotel trying to calm down the staff? Is it somebody who sees money in the problem? Could be from a bedbug. Here's the first line. I have something important to tell you. Write a monologue about a scar. Someone who has a scar, someone looking at a scar, from the perspective of the scar. Write a monologue where character A, the person talking, is trying to convince character B, the person listening, to stay. Write a monologue from the perspective of a pet. If Sprinkles the cat could suddenly talk, what would they say? What would their emotional state be? Write a monologue from the perspective of an inanimate object. What would your couch, your bed, your bookcase say? What would the emotional state be? Write a monologue in which a character is voicing something they have never said aloud. Write a character in your monologue is speaking about a prized possession. What is it? Why do they have it? Why do they keep it? What does it mean? Write a monologue in which a character is feeling an extreme emotion. Love, hate, fear, pride. What is the reason for the extreme emotion? So the whole point of monologues are not natural in that you can have an ear for dialogue, in that you can sit down and you can listen to two people having a conversation, and you can take that and turn that into dialogue. I'd say all the time to students, go to the cafeteria, sit down, listen to two people talking, try not to show that you're eavesdropping, but listen to the way they talk, and then try and write that down, right? Try and write that down. Hi, Danielle. Yes, that's the giveaway. The giveaway is in the link. The monologue prompt, I'm talking about the monologue prompt page. It is in the link in the description. I tell students all the time, you can listen to conversation and make that natural. There are very few people who stand at the bus stop and then monologue about how their mom killed their goldfish and now they can't swim, right? We don't monologue necessarily in life. It is specifically a theatrical thing. It's a wonderful thing. I think it's great to have this thing that only happens in a theatrical experience where someone unleashes. Same thing with musicals. In musicals, the point of a musical is you get to at a point where a character can do nothing but sing. Same thing should be from a monologue. A person should get to the point where they can do nothing but share. And that is something that takes a lot of practice, because what happens is students, when they think they know what to write in a monologue, what comes out is instead a story, which makes perfect sense. They've been writing stories, then hearing stories since before they went to school. It makes perfect sense that when you tell a student write a monologue, they write a story. So it takes practice. And it's important to practice in very small chunks, right? You know, get students to practice writing in the first person, only one person speaking, so that it's just one person's voice coming out, and that there must be a listener. I think that is the most important rule you can give your students for monologue writing. There must be a listener. Now, the listener could be a live person, a loved one, an enemy, a brother, a sibling. It could be a person. But because this is theater, a listener could be so many things. A listener could be a ghost. The listener could be, a dead loved one. The listener could be a poster of Marilyn Monroe. It could be a plant. It could be a pet, right? There's so many things that a listener could be in a theatrical monologue. But I really think that students should stray away from, I am speaking to myself. Camille. I am speaking to myself, or I am speaking to the audience. And the reason that I say you should stay away from those is because they lack action. They lacked, I want something from you. When you're talking to yourself, it can get very introspective, and there isn't drive a lot of times. I'm only speaking, in my experience. You guys may have total wonderful experience with having your students write self-reflective monologues, or monologues where they're only speaking to themselves. Absolutely. I can only talk about what my experience is when I see students write. And when we're talking about the monologue form, that we want there to be theatricality, and we want it to have action. And that means we're not talking a story in the past. And if a character is speaking to someone or to something that they want something from this person, right? I have something important to tell you. That's got action. I haven't said that. Self-reflective monologues, use those in warm-ups, man. Self-expression monologues, where you might give students the first sentence, like, the thing I'm most proud of is, I firmly believe that. The thing I'm most proud of? The thing I'm least proud of. In 5 years, I see myself as. Those are fantastic self-reflective monologue starters for, like, bell work, where you come in and it's on the board. Here's a sentence starter on the board. You're going to write for 5 minutes. And you're writing in the monologue form, first person, only one person speaking. You could even identify a listener for a self-reflective monologue like that. I'm talking to the teacher. I'm talking to my mom. I'm talking to someone who doesn't believe in me. It's all about that kind of work is important too, because the other thing about theater is about expressing an opinion and expressing having an opinion. And once you can get students to start to identify their opinions, they can have characters who express an opinion. And that is an amazing thing for students to realize, that they can have a character who thinks like them. They can have a character who thinks the opposite of them. You know, sometimes instead of having 5 teenagers who on stage who all sound the same and don't have any insides, by getting your students to start expressing themselves, coming up with opinions on big topics, you know, large topics like depression, like war, and small, teeny tiny projects like the thing I think about my brother is, right? The thing I'd love to change about my brother is, or my sister is, and that is that's good too, because plays are not always about depression and war. Sometimes they are exactly about, I wish I could change my brother, I wish I could change my sister. And those plays are the universal ones, right? Romeo and Juliet survives as a piece of theater, less, I think, because it was written by Shakespeare, and less because it's in this highfalutin language, and more because it is the story of a boy and a girl who fell in love when they weren't supposed to, and they did something about it, right? That is a family, it's a tiny family issue. Not so tiny for many. So, okay, this is the stuff that I literally could talk forever on. I love finding ways for students to do their own writing. I think every student should write a play. Again, not to point them in the direction of life as a working playwright, but to point them in the direction of giving them a forum to express themselves, to maybe put their thoughts in the voice of another character who's not them, and maybe they can have this character say things that they would like to say out loud but don't feel that they can. There is such an amazing pride in a finished play that I've never seen anywhere else, because it's daunting for so many teachers too. I meet so many teachers whose high school English teacher told them their writing sucked, and they threw that play in a drawer, and they didn't look at it again for 25 years. We can't have that. We're not talking about building building a race of playwrights, building a team of playwrights. We're talking about giving our students a forum to express themselves in a unique genre, and finishing a play is amazing. But you can't throw them in the deep end and say, turn Moby Dick into a play, I'll see you in 2 months. You need to start small, and baby steps are the way to go. And monologue prompts, like you've got in the giveaway that I'm doing today, which is the link is in the description. That is the way to start your students on the first step towards writing. So there. Thank you all for your time. I will be back next week. I'll be talking about plays. Hey, phone's ringing. Time to end. Thanks everybody. Have a great night.